Hey everyone, my name's Rodney and I'm just big boned, and this is day 131 of my weight loss journey. Although I'm filmed this last night because I'm just my days are crazy busy at the moment. But I wanted to tell you another story, another personal story of mine, and this one is one of my favorite stories out of all the ones I tell. This is probably one of my most favorite stories. And to start off, I need to confess something. Growing up and in my teenage years and early adulthood, I wasn't confident with women. I was never the type of guy that could walk up to a strange girl and have a conversation and leave with a phone number. I was shy. I was nervous. I was worried that they were going to tell me to bugger off. My weight was an issue. I did have some people that I met, say, look, you're fat and ugly type thing. So I was never really good with women, but I always wanted to be in a relationship. I always wanted to be married, kids, all that sort of stuff. And I did get into relationships. I did manage to find my way into some. But I got to my early 30s and I still didn't have the life that I wanted. So I decided that I needed to do something about it. So I signed up with this coach, this dating relationship coach, and went through this 13-week course essentially. And a lot of it was working on myself and on my inner game. That was what she taught. Wasn't any of this sleazy pickup stuff, although she'd learnt those techniques. But that's not what she was teaching. And she was teaching how to attract women. And in particular, the one thing that really resonated with me is and I won't go on too much about this because this is not a pickup channel. She spoke about this concept of being cocky and funny. You need to be a little cocky to come across as confident, but you need to be funny at the same time so you don't come across as arrogant. And that really resonated with me because that was my sense of humor, that sort of joking, talk yourself up, that sort of thing. And I'm like, oh my God, I've already got this. And so I finished this course, and a couple of months later, I'm on the bus. I'm heading home after being in the city all day. And I'm sitting on the bus as everyone else is getting on. And this girl walked past me and she smiled at me. And she sat right behind me. And I'm thinking, oh, she smiled at me. Is she being friendly or is she into me? And she was sitting right behind me. She had her earphones on. And I really wanted to turn around and speak to her. But, sort of turning around, earphones in, could just sort of strike up a natural conversation. So I just didn't say anything. I didn't do anything, but I kept thinking about the entire ride home. And it's coming up to my stop, and I noticed she's getting off at the same stop as me. Like, she got up before I did, so she's not following me. And she gets up and we get off at the same stop. Now, where we got off, this particular bus stop, it's actually on a big T intersection. So there's a road coming across here and a road coming down there. So we get off the bus and I need to go across the street to catch my next bus home. And, a whole bunch of us from the bus were walking across the street, and she was there. And she sort of turned behind her and she saw I was there, so walked across the street. And we get to the other side and she's pressed the lights and is going to head that way. I needed to go down this way, so I wasn't supposed to go across this road. But I thought, what the hell? Now, once she was on the other side of the road, there were 3 ways she could have gone. She could have gone across the street and then turned right and walked down. And I thought, yeah, if she goes that way, I'm going to go that way and see if I can strike up a conversation. If she had have not gone right, she'd have just walked and then continued on. That was the main road. There was less people there. It would have come across creepy. So I thought, no, if she goes that way, I'm not going to follow her. It's going to seem creepy. And the third way she could have gone was straight ahead and into a Porto. And I thought, if she goes into a Porto, I'm having a Porto for dinner tonight. And before we walked across the street, she turned. She seen I was there. Lights change. We walked across the street, and she walked straight into a Porto. And I'm like, man, I'm having a Porto for dinner tonight. So I walk in behind her, and she turns one last time, and she looks at me. And this is where the cocky, funny bit sort of came in. I had this prepared. She turned, she saw me, and I said, excuse me, but are you following me? And she goes, I think that's the other way around. And then I came up with this story. It's so convoluted, so ridiculous, but boy, was it funny. I said, see, no, that would be creepy. See, what you're doing is you're reading my mind, and you know where I'm going before I get there. So that way you can get there before me, and so you can follow me without it seeming creepy. And she didn't say anything. She probably a little smile. I don't know, it's several years ago now. She got a order, and she went and sat down. I went up, I ordered, and I walked over to a table and said, is this seat taken? She said, no. So I sat down, and I said, so what's your name? And she tells me, and I said, oh, my name's Rodney. And she goes, how old are you? Because, I've got this baby face, this boyish good look. So she thought, yeah, he's a bit too young for me. And so I said, I'm 31 at the time. So I am 31. And she was about 37. I said, that's all right. It's fine. It's not a huge age difference. Certainly not the biggest age difference I've ever had in a relationship, but that's a story for another time. And then, no joke, these are the next words that come out of her mouth. She said, so do you want my number? I couldn't believe it. I was like, holy crap. I didn't even have to ask. I didn't have to think of anything else to say. I just couldn't believe how easy it was. I said, yeah, that'd be great. So she gave me a number. I put it in my phone. And she didn't even finish stuff. I've got to go. So she stood up and she walked out and took her stuff with her. And I'm just like, holy crap. Did I just do that? Did I just see a girl on the bus, follow her off the bus? Joke used to be that I stalked her. Strike up a conversation with her and get her phone number. And in that instant, I remember this as clear as day. I remember in that incident, I said to myself, well, that story you say about not being good with women, you can't tell that story anymore. And like that, just in that moment, my entire story had changed. See, the beliefs we have about ourselves are just that. They're just stories. They were written by us, and they can be rewritten, and they can be edited. And, it doesn't matter whether it's a story about women or a story about weight loss and why you can't lose weight. Whether it's, well, I'm not this type of person, or I'm not disciplined, or I'm not good with this, or whatever. You can rewrite that story. And, I said to this girl, I'll give you a call tomorrow. Because I don't do the whole wait 3 days. You got to strike while the iron is hot. Rodney's dating tip number 1. If, you get a number, you call the next day. It's not desperate, right? And so I called, this is the best part of the whole story. I called her the very next day. And I found out what she did for a living. Get this. She is a professional psychic. So that whole business about where I said, you're reading my mind, She totally freaking do that. She was a psychic. I couldn't believe it. It was the best part of the whole story. And I dated her for about 18 months, and that didn't last. She's not my wife, but yeah, it's a moment that has changed my life forever. I know it has, because in that time, so this was in November of 2013. In that time, I have been single for a total of 6 weeks only. From then to now, that's the entire time I've spent single. So I dated her for about 18 months. We broke up. I was single for 3 weeks. Met someone else. That didn't last long. That's a different story. And then I was single for another 3 weeks before I met my wife. And the rest, they say, is history. So you can totally change these stories you have about yourself. And I might, if you're interested, I might do a weight loss psychology video about how to change your story. If you want to hear that, leave story in the comments below, and that's something I can work on. So a much more positive personal story, one of my personal favorites. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please hit subscribe and follow me on my journey. I've got over 120 people now, all following me, all giving me so much love and support. And guys, I couldn't have made it this far without all of your support. And if you like this story, please hit the like button to tell YouTube this guy is awesome and other people need to be watching him. Thank you so much for watching, and just remember, I'm not fat. I'm just big boned.